The first exotic we got, we went into this tropical fish shop and this chap dumped this box on the counter and he said, I don't want this anymore, I don't want this, you've got to have it. Because, you know, you listen and your ears, what's he talking about? Anyway, he'd got a 3-foot python. So I said to the bloke, well, what are you going to do with it? He said, I'm going to throw it in the river on the way home then. He said, because I don't want it. So I said, well, I'll give you a tenner for it. I had to ask the pet shop man to lend me the 10 quid because at the time we hadn't got it, and he lent me it anyway. Not long after that, a Jehovah's Witness chap came to the door, and I thought, oh, flipping heck, what's he got in his jacket? And he opened his jacket and he'd got a bag, and in the bag he'd got another python. So we ended up with that one as well. And it just, to be honest, it just snowballed. Once people knew we'd got one thing, then people had come to the door with a parrot. You know, we bought this parrot and it's screaming the house down and the neighbours are getting nasty and we've got to get rid of it. Mine and my husband's sort of hobby, I think, that went absolutely wrong.
"30 years later, the hobby that went wrong is now a registered charity and is home to over 300 animals. Pam and Mel ran the refuge together for over 20 years. Mel passed away in 2004, leaving Pam to carry on.
Knocked me for 6, to be quite honest. In the back of my mind, I knew that something was going to happen because he was due to go in for that heart bypass. His idea was that he wasn't going to have that operation and he didn't want it. And, you know, without being funny, I think he willed himself not to be here. And he'd told me on numerous occasions that he thought, you know, that he would rather die than have the operation. Worst thing was we'd got an open day, I think it was a week after he died, or a fortnight after he died, and I didn't know whether to keep on with it or not, and everybody said, well, he wouldn't have wanted you to have give up, you know, he would have wanted you to carry on and do it. We did have the open day. Oi! Yeah, we did have, sorry about that. We did have the open day and it was a success, and it was good. I was pleased that we did have it after that because, you know, it made me feel that I could carry on.
The refuge is home to a wide variety of abandoned pets, rescued wildlife, and animals that are not suitable for zoos. The national increase in exotic pet ownership has created problems for Pam and the refuge. Owners find that they can no longer cope with the specialist food, care and attention that many of these unusual and dangerous animals require. Many of the animals are sick or injured when they come to the refuge. Pam and her team provide the love and attention these animals need.
Inca, the lynx, I had her from about 5 weeks old. She slept in my bed. You know, she lived with me until she was about 3 months old, and until she decided she wanted to go outside and have more room. She loves me now. I go down there and she always purrs and makes a big fuss of me. You know, there's things like that you can never replace the love you get from them.
It amazes me. I walk around with her. I don't know if you've noticed when you're filming, but the animals respond when she's around. They actually respond to her, and I don't think she sees that anymore. I don't think she knows just how amazing she is. That these animals, they know that she's given them this safe haven.
This is the one I hand-reared from about half an hour old. Went out on New Year's Eve morning and lifted the food bowls up, taking the house, and this little thing was underneath the food bowl. The mum had put him underneath there, covered him full of shavings, and I thought it was a rat. And then all of a sudden this little gangly arm moved up and down, and he'd just been born.
A lot of the primates here were rescued from appalling conditions.
Benny was actually kept in a air raid bunker, so he didn't have any contact with anything at all. It caused him to become so depressed that he's actually bitten off several of his own toes.
One of Mr. Tan's previous owners taught him how to smoke.
A lot of the animals come to us for genuine reasons. You know, I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. A lot of the people bring them here because they've lost their job and they haven't got any money, or they're sick and they can't look after them, or they just don't want them anymore. But there are some people that, you know, you really have to bite your tongue and say, what did you buy it for? You know, because what did you get it in the first place? Because you know you couldn't cope with it. It's just really just make me sick sometimes.
At an age when most people are thinking about retiring, Pam continues to work 365 days a year. It's beginning to take its toll.
I used to love going walking. I'd walk miles with the dogs, but I can't now. I mean, at the moment I'm going blind, so it's a little bit difficult. I can't see out of this eye hardly at all, so I have to, I'm finding signing cheques and things like that very difficult, which is very convenient. The other things, I mean, the angina and the diabetes and that don't really affect me that much. You know, I cope with them. While I've got breath in my body, I will do, I suppose. You like banana chips, don't you?
The diverse mix of reptiles, mammals and birds all require special diets, medicines and veterinary attention, and this doesn't come cheap.
It is getting more of a struggle. When I first started coming here about 4 years ago, I think the average running cost was about 45 to 50,000 a year. It's nearly 70,000 now. That's a lot more money. The year before we had the long winter from about November, and I think we were down to about £50 in the bank when the open day came up, and that's really hard work because you need much more than that just in a week just to feed the animals, so it was getting really desperate.
Sasha!
Yeah, she's given more than half of her life, and obviously there's always worries for her about is she going to have enough money from one year to the next to keep it going. I know she has tremendous problems with the heating bills, and last winter the size of the bill nearly closed the place, not for the first time.
Slowly. Okay, slowly.
This year we've been lucky, we've had a bit more money come in, and a lot of things have sort of taken off a bit more this year. So we're all right now.
Many of the animals at the refuge can't be rehomed as they require such special care. Zoos would be reluctant to take them on as they can't be used for breeding programs or for display.
Other sanctuaries might take a few of them, but majority of them have got problems. Because they've got problems, no one else would want them.
Doris is 64 this year. One foot is curled up because of a tendon problem which she was born with. They did try and do something with it when she was younger, but they couldn't, so she's always limped. But it doesn't seem to do her any harm. She can still move fast when she wants to.
You know, I mean, they're schizophrenic, some of them. They're not... 1 minute they're lovely and the next minute they bite your hand off. Ordinary people wouldn't have the... Well, I say ordinary people. Most people wouldn't have the patience, and they would be more frightened of them than anything, I think. Majority of them would be put to sleep. Hook on. Hook on, babe. I've got no life other than this, really. It is my life, so I don't know what I'd do if anything happened that we had to close. Just make sure that doesn't happen, really. My son said to me one day when he was about 10, Mum, what it would be like to live in a normal house? You know, and I thought to myself then, well, I don't know because I can't remember. It's always been open house to people and it's always been open house to animals.